Hello, I'm Jonathan Crook, Print Technical Consultant for HP. In this video, I'm going to quickly show you how to set up alerts and reporting in HP Security Manager. Today, I'm using HP Security Manager 3.15 in Windows Server 2022. So Security Manager as a whole has the ability for doing a few different reports and alerts based on how you may have set up your policies and things like that, right? And so these are crucial because as a solution, it can ultimately be set up as a fully automated solution. You need to make sure you have alerts in place or reports in place that helps you be notified of things that are going on inside the system. So unless you're constantly logging into Security Manager, the alerts and reports are a good way to know just how is the system doing? How are the printers doing? How's the fleet look? All that stuff. So first thing is for alerts. Alerts are more about we're looking for specific things to trigger an alert. These are not going to be like the full reports. You can see here I've already got an alert set up here, right? So you can have multiple alerts just like everything else with the groups and the policies and the tasks. To set up an alert, you come over here to the blue bar like we always do, and we click on New Alert. Now the alerts are triggered by certain criteria. Um, in most cases, from what I've seen, is assessment status, right? But you see device list, device status, and then you have licensing. Maybe you need an alert if your licensing is getting ready to be maxed out and you need to buy more licenses, right? Um, but depending on the category, the criteria changes, right? So device status is in an error status or it's good. Um, Assessment tends to be the one that most people are going to want to use because it allows you to get an alert based on the high, low, medium risk, not assessed or passed, right? And so you might, in this case, want to say, you know what, if it finds a printer on the network that has not been assessed and it's greater than, let's say, 1% of the fleet, right? So essentially, anytime we find a printer on the network that has not been assessed, it's going to send an alert out. Now, the do you necessarily need this? Maybe, maybe not, right? It depends on your environment. The alerts are there to help you guys in case you guys aren't going in there. The biggest one that a lot of people tend to go towards is high risk, right? So high risk is greater than, let's say, 50%. So if it's running policies periodically on a scheduled rotation, and then all of a sudden it runs a policy and then over half the fleet is at a high risk, right? This is going to send off an alert just to say, hey, over 50% of these devices is a high risk, something's going on, right? And that could be maybe you guys just changed a policy, right? You changed something from medium to high risk, with the TLS, like I showed in the policy setup. You can select what group, right, as well. So this helps again filter down, right? So we don't necessarily have to say all devices, but we could select one of the groups we've set up and say, okay, we're only going to focus on the color devices here, right? Don't forget, naming is important, just like in my other videos. Name what the alert subscription means, right? So this is color devices, high risk, right? And then you plug in the email address of whomever needs to get these emails, and you can do multiple email addresses, and then you can see the subject here. And then basically you hit create, and then it's going to show up here. Now you can see here that the high risk alert, and you see I've got a high risk here for greater than 1%. So it actually notified this morning for me, right? Um, these can be very valuable for immediate concerns, right? Or things that you may need to be aware of sooner than later, right? Because reporting, which I'm going to show you here in a second, can be scheduled to be sent off periodically, but that's going to run its normally scheduled program, right? It's not going to change up based on how the fleet looks. So that's where alerts allow you to be notified outside of the reporting schedule. With reports, you can come in here and you can manually come in and say, I want to see the executive summary, and I can click on show, and poof, there's my executive summary report, right? I'm not going to go through and describe every single report here, but you can see we've got quite a few depending on who wants what report. I'm going to show you how you can send multiple reports to people, right? So executive summary might be the CEO, right? Might be the CIO. But then devices assessed or things like that might need to go to someone who's more in tune with handling the printers and maintaining the posture of the security on the network, right? But this is just to take a look at it here and now. And then of course we can export or download it as a PDF, right? But in most cases, like everything else in security management, we want to schedule this, right? We want these reports to come off periodically. Over here on the blue bar, you can see there's an export reports. When you go here, now we get a different screen, right? And we can come in here and we can check off which reports we're looking for. Now, this is where getting a feel for what each of the reports is can be valuable because you don't necessarily want to send the wrong report or a report that someone's not going to be interested in. But you check off which ones you want. You can check off what type of file, PDF, CSV, both, right? Plug in their email, and this is where you can actually schedule it, right? So again, give it a name, whatever the case may be, and that's I've already got that name in there, so we're going to do another one. How often, daily, weekly, or monthly? And what time to kick off, right? So we can actually schedule these reports as well to be sent off periodically. And again, you plug in whomever you want in there, and we hit create. And what it does is it populates into the scheduled area. And so you can see here I've got different scheduled reports. That's why naming is important, and then what types of files, when they were last ran. And you can see here, this one's multiple, and then I've got PDF and CSV. So the reporting, just like policies, just like tasks, just like device discovery, can be set up to be automatically sent off periodically, however often you would like them to be done. Hope this has been informative for you. Have a great day.